Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today we're going to have a conversation on Secret Lair. I continue to get people asking me about my long-term opinion on Secret Lairs. And let's get a few facts out of the kind of front and center here. I've never really been a big fan of Secret Lairs. At the very beginning, from 2019 to 2021, I did end up accumulating a good amount of them. But most of those accumulation Secret Lairs, have you guys saw from old videos, were mostly from collection buying that had Secret Lairs inside of them. When we hit about, by the time we moved to 2022, 2023, the volume of Secret Lairs was so high. The number one thing everybody kept saying was people would order one, they don't remember which one they ordered. So much time would pass. Did we skip that one? Did we get that one? By the time you order, so 4, 5, 6, 7 Secret Lairs would come out. And then one would come in the mail, and you're like, which one is this? Oh, this is one from 7 Secret Lairs ago. It became so confusing. That was when a lot of people started to really throttle back from any form of Secret Lair purchasing, unless they dropped one that really connected with an individual. I believe in about 2022, 2023, this is when we started to see a tremendous drop-off in demand and sell-through rate of Secret Lairs for Wizards of the Coast. Moving into 2024, this is why today I believe that they have, well, Secret Lairs back to, not printed demand anymore. It's very limited because, well, they needed a way to get people more excited to buy Secret Lairs, because by making Secret Lairs limited again, they could print them in advance, they could try to make them more special, and try to get the market more excited to buy more of them. Again, I remain very adamant about my attitude of stepping on bubble paper. I remain very basic that I don't like the concept of Secret Lair. I think it's an absolute poor business decision for a corporation, and you're taking these small little revenue injections by selling off your secondary market single cards direct to consumer. When in reality, the few thousand of these things you would sell, you should literally be taking all these Secret Lairs, make a specialty, really unique new Magic set or product, put these cards in them, or make them chase cards, do something unique, and just make one special product a year with all these cards you're going to reprint anyways. And you would sell a lot more of them, and again, I don't have the exact numbers, but my theory is you would make a lot more revenue actually utilizing that secondary market cards instead of just cashing them in into a better way. But that's just me. What do I know? Basement guy in Florida, right? All right, so data. You all keep asking me, Rudy, where's Secret Lair? What do you think? So right now, again, the facts remain, Secret Lair does really well. Okay, even with the lower demand of 2023, 2024 Secret Lairs with limited editions or limited printing now, Secret Lairs as a whole, the data is now shown since they started at the end of 2019 into 2020, 2024, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is the 6th, so we're middle of the 6th year. We have a good solid 5 years of Secret Lairs in existence with an absolute insane amount of them. I don't know anyone who collects them all. I don't know anyone who keeps them. They're all over the place. But, okay, even though I don't agree with it, looking at the overall market, it is estimated that 5 to 10% of Secret Lairs, let's round up and be negative, okay, 10% of all Secret Lairs still sell for the same price they did when they came out or lower. Okay? That means 90% of Secret Lairs are either slightly above the original price or substantially higher than the original $30, $40 a Secret Lair when they came out. Okay? So with that basic thing, okay, without getting any details, 90% of Secret Lairs either still maintaining $1 above the price or at least being 50 bucks or above is very successful. Okay, that means the market has overall accepted for that. If less than 10% of Secret Lairs crash below the original sale price to the public, that's a pretty successful ratio. A 90-10 ratio of success to failure is data that no matter how much I dislike it, no matter how much I bitch about it or complain, the data does not agree with my opinion. Okay? Now, moving forward, is this going to continue? Actually moving forward, even though I'm not buying new Secret Lairs, I don't order them through ScaleFast, I don't do any of that stuff. Moving forward, the odds of Secret Lairs now and into the future actually being just as successful or greater than or equal is actually better now than ever. So let's say it a different way, a little less chunky, a little less wordy, a little less taco-y. If you buy a new secret lair today, the probability is skewed that it will either hold its value or go up in value because they are doing limited amounts. They've tightened print runs, 2024 era, and most likely the odds are in your favor that you will be able to flip, scalp, whatever dramatic word you want to use on the internet. The odds are these items are going to perform for you. Am I involved in that market? Am I buying into that market? I do not. Now, when I buy big collections, or locally, or behind the scenes, or shipped to me, or whatever, yes, many times in these collections there are some secret layers, sometimes some sealed little ones, sometimes they're open with a single in a binder, or sometimes they're in a long box. It just is what it is. So, if you're looking for, I guess, okay, let's just get it front and center. The next question is always, I keep getting is Secret Lair going to be a better collectible investment compared to buying a sealed booster box, a sealed collector box, a sealed play box, or a sealed commander deck set? That is not a question that can be answered because nobody knows. Assigning a blanket category that outperforms everything doesn't work in life. That's like saying, is there a certain mutual fund that's just going to be the best? Well, right now, tech stocks are hot, and nobody wants small cap stocks. Well, consumer discretionary is not as good as consumer staples, or utility stocks aren't as good as international stocks in emerging market. Wait, mid caps are outperforming large cap top. Okay, look, in any window, we talk about this on this channel all the time. You can take data and put kind of binders on each side, and we can slide our window, and we can try to make data look better or worse depending on the narrative we're trying to spin. Okay, but the reality is, when you don't really try to have that narrative, the blunt truth is, there's always going to be a time when secret lairs will outperform. There's always going to be a time when a collector box will outperform. There's always going to be a time when the cheapest draft play box will outperform all of it. There's going to be a time where none of it does anything, and you should have just bought Pokemon. There's going to be a time when all of it collapses and a Flesh and Blood set comes out and just spikes. There's going to be times when a new sorcery launch, that's all people are going to want. There's going to be a time when One Piece is going to drop OP 69, and that is going to be a $500 box, and everyone's going to fight for it. There's going to be a time when all these things are going to have their moment in the sun. That doesn't mean some are failing and some are succeeding. The market is cyclical. The trend goes different directions, just like the wind and just like your ex, and there's no way to predict what's going to happen next. Therefore, similar to Wall Street, similar to real estate, similar to Bitcoin, similar to stamp collecting and vibrating rubber thing collections, there's always going to be a different flavor of the month. No pun intended, okay? And because of that, the only free lunch in life is diversification, okay? There is never going to be a time when one item rules them all. It's always going to be a hot thing. Right now, we all know what the hottest tech stock and making their graphics card and the AI, everything is. But there's going to be another time, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years from today, 10 years from today, it's going to rotate, okay? So when we go back to this, Secret Lair, the data shows us with limited, tighter productions and not unlimited sales, and based on the 90-10 historical data of the last 5 years, the odds are, if you're putting $5,000 into every secret lair, the odds are in your favor that over a 10-year period, you're most likely going to make a good amount of profit because some of those are going to spike on you. Maybe there's some new kitty cat secret lair and they're $40 a piece and they go to $200 a piece and you 4 or 5x your money. Remember, I tell you guys this all the time, when you have one secret lair that goes from $50 to $200, that multiplier, this is how I approach Weiss and some other things. One set, because remember, a Weiss box is, let's say, wholesale for around $50, okay? So if you buy a secret lair at 50, or a Weiss Schwartz box at 50, okay? If the next 2 secret lairs never do anything, Weiss stays at $50 a box for 20 years, secret lair stays at, it never does anything. But then set number 3 comes out and goes to 125, and you double or triple your money, okay? Okay, well, you can sell the one that triples your money, and it just paid for 3 different releases. So when you get into law of large numbers and different types of diversification, the math feels, changes, and looks different. Hence why people swear and live by diversification, because that's how I approach a lot of things. It's like magic right now. I don't know which $89 Magic Draft Box is going to go to $200 in the future. But I do know if I put a position every single $89 draft box, some of them are probably just going to stay at $100 and never do anything. But I guarantee you, there's going to be at least one or two that are going to go to 200 plus a box, and that makes it worthwhile. And that's what secret layers are. No matter how much you like a secret layer, the market and the demand and the print run and whatever the future interaction of reprint of new power creep, there's going to be some variable that's going to make a certain secret layer go from 40, 50 bucks to $200 to $300 a secret layer. And again, if you go in your collection and you have a position because you put $5,000 in every secret layer, and one of those $5,000 positions jumps to $20,000, you're going to come out a hero, okay? Because remember it's a weird factor. Maybe there should be a whiteboard video. I thought I did a whiteboard video on that in the past. Maybe I already did. You have to remember that, folks. It's the same concept with collector boxes. A lot of people got very disenfranchised and angry at collector boxes and Wizards and Rudy for selling them and talking about them and stores for offering them all over the country to the public. There was a lot of anger last year because of the Amazon dumps and the bad management of Hasbro, WotC, and crushing the value of collector boxes and making them, well, not collectible, right? Well, because of that, you know, people were buying collector boxes for years. You know, Ikoria, Throne, going into Baldur's Gate, March of the Machines and Phyrexias and Kamigawas and Baldur's Gate and Streets of Barry Manilow's and, you know, and then all of a sudden you're looking at this going, Rudy, I bought like a case of every collector box just like you told me to do and you told my ex-wife to do, and you know, every single one is worth exactly what I paid, or I've lost 10, 20, 30% of my money. And I'm like, yeah, that's called a bear market, my friend. 2 years of being punched in the face, that will happen. And then now in 2024, those kind of messages kind of just stop. Everybody just kind of gets quiet because the narrative is no longer, it's starting to shift. So being able to complain or be angry at your local game store, Hasbro or Rudy, or you can't really, it gets difficult to put the parameters of anger when the market starts to go against that kind of perspective. And that's what we're seeing, because you can't really be angry, because if you were still staying the course and buying a case of 6 of every collector box, let's say, well, the last 7 releases, besides Carlo of Manor, the last 8 releases, Carlo of Manor has dropped 20-30% from the release of 200 to 150, and the other 7 sets have been extraordinarily successful. Extraordinarily successful. But that's how this world works, okay? The only difference now, things are moving faster than they did in the past. Data and information moves faster now than it ever has, but the basic principle is still the same. The rate of change is quicker, but nothing else has really changed, everybody. It's the same thing. So, while Rudy still hates secret layers and thinks it's a toxic thing on the Magic the Gathering world, I can tell you right now, go on TCG Player, type in secret layer, sort it by only sealed secret layers, sort by high to low or best match, wherever you want. Look at TCG Player. Look at the prices, scroll through all the pages of all these secret layers, and you're going to find very, very few secret layers out of the, I don't even know, what are there, 1,000 plus secret layers now? Out of the 1,000 plus secret layer drop series and everything they've done, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not going to find very many of them. There's a couple, but out of 1,000, you may find a handful that are 20, 30 bucks a piece, and you're going to find most of them are going to be between $50 and $100, which are higher than what they originally were, especially in the early days when they were $29.99 and $39.99, not even $49.99. And, you know, when you look at that, that means, well, even if you had bought one of these things for 40 bucks, and today it's $60, after shipping and fees, you only net 50. Okay, well, if you paid 40, you net 50, you're still up 20%. Oh, but Rudy, it's only $10. Correct, because you're using a small scale. But we talk in percentages on this channel. We're not talking about raw $10. Oh, $10 is such a small amount of money. Sure it is. But guess what? $10 a shot. And if you're selling these things on TCG Player or eBay, and guess what? If you have 100 transactions a month, and you're only making 10 bucks a transaction, you're making $1,000 a month profit. You start getting to real money. Okay, those pennies start turning into real dollars, which actually start turning into actual, you start going to the hundreds to the thousands, it actually becomes something useful. And that's, that's the nasty thing about this, It's difficult even for me because it's just, I can't stand the concept. But similar to serialized cards, which I got a video coming up here, it is working. So while Rudy may not talk about Secret Lair much, if you are looking to collect, if you're looking to invest, chances are the odds are going to be in your favor for a 5 to 10 year time horizon, still buying into new modern Secret Lairs. The probability is definitely skewed in a positive light, especially with the 2024 attitude of tighter print runs and limited Secret Lair quantities. Because think about this, and then we're going to wrap up the video. The average consumer in America is getting crushed by inflation. The average worker is getting the same paycheck and everything's just skyrocketed in price, right? So when you factor in those basic macroeconomic trends, the average consumer, the average person in the United States is spending less money. They have less disposable income for discretionary purchasing, which discretionary means, in other words, purchases that aren't needed. That's why they call it consumer staples versus consumer discretionary. These are items that aren't really needed to live. These are just fun, woo stuff and yay, smiley face Rudy kind of thing. But with less people in that, knowing that market out there and how the average person is, knowing that Hasbro's making adjustments and they're not screwing around, as we've learned in the last 9 months, these are all very bullish indicators. And these are all indicators that, well, if you were putting thousands in every Secret Lair, in 5-10 years from now, there's going to be some of those Secret Lairs, you're going to probably make a lot of money. The probability is very tilted favorably. And the ones you're going to lose on are probably not going to be much losses. It's maybe 10-20%. And again, a 10-20% loss is the worst case with 100+% upside. That is a very attractive risk-reward teeter-totter. So hope somebody out there that helps. Hope it makes sense. No, I don't have Secret Lairs for sale. I do have some leftovers. Every once in a while, I can do a little Secret Lair thing from collections and patrons. But overall, if that's something you're interested in, you have to go through Wizards and everything direct. But I think it's a very fascinating thing that does need to be talked about, even if Rudy's not trying to shill and pump and dump you. I do think there's tremendous opportunity for people who want to stick with that. And if you're willing to put some time and work into it and labor and flipping sealed to single Secret Lair cards, you're probably going to do pretty well. That's all I got. What are we talking about next? Oh, we should talk about serialized cards. The market seems happy.